It's time again. It is time once more, my friends, to figure out what the hell is going on here. Yo, what's up, Maximum Brandon? How's it going? Oh my word. This could be an absolutely historic match right now. In fact, either way it goes, this is going to be a historic match. This is the most important match of the 2020 playoffs so far. Yes, NYXL bombed out of the playoffs last night against the Seoul Dynasty. Yeah, the Seoul Dynasty are headed to the Final Four and might be repeat championship winners. But this right here, the lower bracket final of North America, is the most important game of the playoffs. This is truly ridiculous. Number 1 versus number 12 seed. And my God, I hope the Philly Fusion are prepared. At the very worst, I want to see a really close game. I want to see them having put in the prep. Isn't Bren the number 1 Fusion fan? Yeah, possibly. Listen, I would never pick a side on broadcast of which team I want to win. But I'm not on broadcast. I'm on my own stream. And let me tell you right now, I want to send the fucking Philly Fusion to the Final Four. If I had the omnipotent powers of God, Chipser would be booking his ticket right now. Here we go. Come on, you marvelous motherfuckers. Okay, Philly Fusion running the Sombra Reaper dive. It can work on control. And if there's any team that can do it, it's Philly. They dive the back line. They're trying to get onto Aim God, but they put the hack on Janu in the front lines as well, splitting the resources of the Philadelphia Fusion. But they've traded main tanks, which is worse for Philly, I would say. But they did buy a bunch of space with it. And the res is not available. Are Justice really going to let them cap the point? That's an enormous advantage early on. I'm surprised that they didn't try and contest. The boop as well! Funny Astro! This guy's cracked! I'm spitting bagel everywhere! I mean, that's wild. That is wild. The trade of the main tanks, but Justice aren't feeling confident enough to power their way in and get the res on Janu, and they give up the capture point, and now the Justice's comp is already a very slow comp, and Philly are going to be up to like 60% before they flip the point over, even if they win the team fight. And then Funny Astro gets a boop, so it's even worse now. Okay, the hack onto Funny Astro, engaged with the Coalescence is very nice. Aim God caught out of position, again by Funny Astro, who's just going fucking buck wild here. Nutty. Call Bren. Is Bren around? Oh, yeah, he is. Yo, what's up?
Hello, it's me, your number 1 fan.
Hello. Dude, already Philly showing us that they actually can execute Sombra Reaper to be able to be at least competent with the Justice on control maps.
Yeah.
I think they need another strat once they get to other maps in the series, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Shadow hook, but Fury's already there. They use it as an engagement onto Aim God. They hack him in the backlines. Hisu got the hack on him, so he couldn't use his nano boost and couldn't use his Bionade to save himself. They trade Shadow, but Funny Astro gets another 2 booms on Janu and Stitch. Dude, this guy is crazy.
On with the mercenary.
I saw someone on Reddit yesterday, a really big Justice fan. They said, I'm kind of sick of everyone hating on the Justice. They are literally running one composition in the playoffs. If you can't beat that, then you're just shite, aren't you? And I was like, wow, actually, when you put it like that, I mean, fair enough. So, God, the Philly Fusion are actually executing this to perfection. They are making every other team in NA look like scrubs for not being able to win with the Sombra Reaper comp. They are actually making every other team in the league look like fucking morons for not being able to beat this with Sombra Reaper. Can they stop Janu Decay from touching the point? They can, and they just take the first round 100-10. Holy shit. Okay, but how do they deal with the Pharah? How do they deal with Tuba's Pharah if he brings that out? Huh? What you got then, Philly, you little bitches? Actually, they're playing so fast and aggressive anyway, I don't think it would be that much of a problem.
I would ignore it.
Yeah, probably. Jano and Decay getting brutalized. Sado is so selfless with how he's engaging. Also, I don't want to underrate Funny Astro, because not just his boops, but he is literally... Funny Astro is diving into their backline and 1v1ing Aim God. And I feel like that's such an underrated component of how this composition works as well, is that your Lucio actually has to get involved in the action. Like, the rest of your team is trying to kill their tank line, so fuck it, why not have their Lucio dive the backline? If you're as good as Funny Astro, you can 1v1 an Ana. Philly are looking for them to get on the point so that they can get a good engage.
On as a Achilles heel.
What, sorry?
Oh, fucking, my fantasy team's fucked.
Janu gets hacked immediately. They just wait for them to get on the point, and then they're like, no, actually, we just killed the Roadhog. Janu gets res, but they've already got the point. Lord almighty. And got hacked. Look, this is what I love as well. The Philly Fusion are smart enough to be able to hack some targets, but then kill other targets. They hack Aim God, so you're forced to pocket Aim God, and then they try and kill Janu. That's what I really like to see. Oh, and Aim God just dies so fast. This team is good, man. God, it's such a trap game as well. Like, the Justice do have a very strong chance of winning this game, but this is impressive to start. Moth thought Fusion were the best Sombra Reaper team when they played. Yeah, no shit. They're obviously the best Sombra Reaper team. I mean, you can tell that just from watching every team in the league. Okay, that's a nice first pick, though. Do Philly just try and delay the point and invest their ults in the next fight? They probably shouldn't try and turn this, but then Philly are Philly. They try and clutch all sorts of weird shit. No, Funny Astro's died, though. You can't commit ults to this. You just have to delay the point. Okay. This is where shit gets interesting, though, because this is the first time that Justice have been in control of the point. And they have big ults to work with. So this could now actually get quite difficult for Philly. Instead of being in control of the point and in control of the tempo, they're now having to push into Washington. How do you deal with this? The thing is, they have 6 ults, so they can just bust their way in through the choke. Oh, what a sleep. Wait, how does Decay die? How do they just kill Decay? They get the res. Funny Astro's there to pop the sound barrier. Oh, Alarm gets hooked out of his coalescence. That's enormous, actually. What a play by Janu. Okay. Pretty good execution there from the Washington Justice. But Philly still have an EMP, so still pretty winnable here for Philly. This is a good match already. This is already living up to my expectations. Whereas the Seoul New York game last night was just a fucking travesty. If you haven't watched that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, don't even bother. Like, I don't often say that, but it was just pointless.
For the lower bracket finals in APAC.
It was one of the most I mean, Wolf said it was the most one-sided playoff game he's ever casted in Overwatch. And, I mean, maybe you could argue that, like, Hangzhou against Seoul was more one-sided, but in terms of, like, a deep playoff game, fucking hell, man, it was very one-sided. And it was very disappointing from New York as well. Coalescence and EMP. The hack onto Aim God. Aim God gets taken down. Okay, this is huge. Alarm, Coalescent, CMP engage. It's 93%. They need to go for something soon. He's just going to touch point. Get the hack onto Janu. Very nice. The bubble on him, though. No one else is really there to finish him off. You got to worry about Tuba's EMP at some point here, guys. All right. Well, actually, no, you don't, because I don't know where Tuba is. But for some reason, he hasn't found an opportunity to use it. Funny Astro is going to get up to his sound barrier in time. But also, I mean, you guys can see how much more difficult it is to push on control. Because Philly are impossible to break once they're in control of the point. But the Washington Justice were also insanely difficult to break as well. EMP catches Decay. You need to kill Decay. Oh, Funny Astro got booped off the point!
What happened to Tuba's EMP?
I have no idea what happened to Tuba's EMP.
Doesn't even matter.
But Funny Astro getting booped off the point by Janu is a map-winning play there, potentially. What a huge play by Janu. Wowie. Oh, apparently Tuba EMP'd Fury and demec'd him.
True. True. Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't see that.
Bro, I find it hard to focus when I woke up 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Would I say Husu's the best Sombra in the league currently? In this meta? Yeah, he actually looks a bit better than Lip. Over the course of the whole season? No, Lip has been better. Hisu held that EMP for like the whole round. Yeah, possibly they should have been a bit more aggressive and coordinated with how they used it, but I mean, he's trying to hold it for the most important part, like this final overtime fight. Interesting that Washington aren't running the Farah at all. Really respecting Philly's aggression.
Oh my god, Tuba. Did you get default hacked?
I don't know.
You just died.
Yeah, he just died. I mean, maybe they killed his translocator. They must have done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
no.
How did they get there in time?
On.
Yeah,
There's
like
no
how
way in hell they killed his translocator. Tuba just fell over.
I mean, sure, you can't forget to press your translocator key. It must have been taken down by something. I'll tell you what as well, Bren. Fury is so fucking good. You know, we talk about like the reduction in the, you know, like the old nerf to the defense matrix and how the hook is so dangerous. He is so aware of when Sado could get hooked that he has saved him every single time. I don't think Janu's got... I don't even know whether Janu's got a kill with his hooks. He hooked Alarm out of Coalescence, but apart from that, I can't think of a time where Janu's actually got a kill with his hook. He probably has. I mean, you could go back through the VOD, but it hasn't been very much compared to usual. Fury's just nutty. Well, Sado got hooked there and damaged. So Fury actually gets demeg for it, just as I'm talking about how good he is. But they punished Janu pretty effectively. Sado's weak, though. Really weak. And Alarm got hacked out of the call. A timing. Still not winnable, though. Decay's just going to laser everyone down. He uses the grav. He yeets the grav to try and catch Funny Astro on Alarm. He's that scared of dueling Funny Astro on the Lucio. Oh, they do get the point flip, though, with the whole hog. So, Philly have got to reset.
To try and take that.
Yeah.
Everything now for the retake.
Holy shit.
Map. Just off the back of this, honestly.
I mean, an EMP engage here. Or a beat engage, actually. Oh, they just go for a beat engage. That seems really smart, actually. Oh, and they get onto Aim God as well. That's the thing. Aim God just, in theory, should never be able to escape from a dive team. Because you have a Lucio on the other side. But against other teams, they just can't execute this cleanly.
It is so clean.
It really is. Like, this is what we were talking about when we were saying, like, you have to play perfectly to run Sombra Reaper as a counter. This is what we were talking about. Like, this is pretty perfect Sombra Reaper gameplay. Teamwork is just so good. Sideshow, pretty please remove my memory of the New York Soul game. I've never been in this much pain, says NYXL fan dude. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. They'll get it together in 2030. Oh, Aim God is getting brutalized, man. Brutalized. I wonder if Philly are just going to run Sombra Reaper the entire time.
Can anyone touch this?
I don't think so, no. Oh, they can. January and Paul. I didn't see that. Okay, how do the Washington Justice clutch this? I mean, maybe they get some kind of EMP and Decay just lasers people down with a nano boost. Possible? No, he is dead. He is dead. Hisu with a very nice aggressive EMP. I mean, that is
Fusion!
Let's fucking go!
I have never been more of a Philly fan than I am in this moment.
I don't think I've ever been more of a fan of any team. There's just something that's so compelling about the Justice being heels. You know? Like, something about the Justice makes me want to root against them. And I love the people on the team. I actually really like every player on the team. But, yeah, I think the Philadelphia Fusion and the Shock deserve to go to the finals. You know? Their performance over the course of this entire year, they should be good enough to go to the finals. And I am almost willing that into reality. No one deserves anything. You earn it. I mean, have they not earned it, though? Esports Chad? I mean, they went fucking 24-2 over the course of the year. Yes, they need to win the playoff games in order to earn their spot, for sure. But it's not like... You can't say they haven't earned it over the course of the year. But yeah, I understand your point. They actually have to win this match in order to earn it, yes. Justice knocked out Paris, Valiant, and Mayhem. Philly is the last hope for vengeance for their fallen foes. Yeah, true. Okay, so what does the Justice pick here? The next map type is hybrid. They definitely pick King's Row. I think Philly are going to have to mirror the Hogs area. I don't think you can play Sombra Reaper on King's Row and win. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and Philly are that good at Sombra Reaper that they can win on King's Row. But I don't think you can. I don't think any team we've seen so far has been able to do that. And even like the Zen Mercy Tracer Ash kind of stuff only really works on King's Row Point A. So this next map is really interesting. If you're a Washington Justice fan, this series is not over whatsoever. You have your choice of maps to be able to go to. Escort maps are good for you guys. If they're going to play Sombra Reaper only, then assault maps are actually winnable if you get to pick something like Anubis. So
Gibraltar.
Yeah, Gibraltar for sure. Like, the escort maps are super winnable. And King's Row is the most winnable of them all. This theoretically should be 1-1 at the half, unless Philly can show us some good shit. Unless Philly is okay dropping a single map. And oh, sorry, I didn't see your message there. The chat went too quickly. Banter Life says, Bren, I like your tweet.
Which one?
It's like in 28... Oh, I don't know. It's like in 2018 when NYXL didn't make it to the finals. In the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you're the best in the regular season. Philly has to earn it in the playoffs, just like NYXL had to and London did. Yeah. I mean, of course. That is kind of the whole point of the playoffs, right? Is that you actually... I mean, the point of playoffs, in theory, is that it's just a more high-pressure, gauntlet-style situation that you have to prove yourself with like... your elimination on the line. It's not supposed that no one invented the concept of playoffs at the end of a regular season. Like, we should change the rules at the end. That'll be fun. That's just how it works in Overwatch. But yes, I do think the point is, it is definitely true. You need to win the maps in order to deserve your spot in the top seed. Like, there are no teams that I would have put above Shock and Philly in the Final Four from North America. The only one that's close is the Justice. So, you know, I don't really care that much that like Valiant and Mayhem and Paris got knocked out, to be honest, because they didn't have what it takes to be able to win. But I think that Philly and Shock do.
Wait, this is the first time I've seen these skins.
I think Justice arguably do as well.
Holy
Yo, Pog?
fuck.
Is that some World of Warcraft shit? No, these are the All-Star skins. Oh, shit. They're the All-Star skins. They actually look... That guy looks like a fucking ent. Reinhardt looks like an ent. That's kind of sick. They nerfed the shit out of shields, and now they're trying to sucker people back into playing Reinhardt. The fuck is an ent? Says T-Phase Waifu. Listen to me. If you have never read, watched, or are aware of high fantasy to the point where you don't even know what an ent is, get out my chat! Zoomers. Okay, bye. Bye. What's an elf? Bye. Yo, what's up? Thank you for the subs, people. Joba939, thanks for the 5 months. Rub your egg for luck? Sure. Base Ballad, thanks for the 3 months as well. This game is going to be sick. You definitely need to stop what you're doing right now and tune in. Finna, thanks for the 10 months as well. I don't have bold psychic powers, though. Meatball Sauce, thanks for the 5 months as well. Aspirin Fries, thanks for the 2 months. IR Recio, thanks for the 7 months. And Bob Hogg as well, thanks for the gifted sub. Arctic Walrus, thanks for joining the Scrun Squad. Slimothy, down with the Mercenary, down with Decay. I'm not going to lie. The more the Justice have been going on this run through the lower bracket, the more I'm rooting for them. I'm happy they got to the 3rd spot in NA because I think that's actually where they are. I think they're the 3rd best team. And I think if they win this match, it's more to do with it being a trap game for Philly rather than Justice actually being better. But at the end of the day, you got to win in the playoffs, don't you? Sam, thanks for the 3 months. And Pixel Logic, thanks for the 100 bits. Say what you will about 2020. I think there's so many good stories coming into the finals. Yep. Washington's miracle run, Fusion Shock rivalry, Playoff Prophet trying to make his case as the GOAT, Shanghai going from 0-40 to best team in the league. Fuck yeah. There's so much chance of a repeat winner as well. Fury on the Philadelphia Fusion, Gesture Prophet Bedosin on the Seoul Dynasty, the whole of, not the entirety, but most of the San Francisco Shock. And then the Shanghai Dragons would be brand new winners. Like, that is so cool. So cool. Gorgons, thank you for the 3 months. And Joe Razor as well, thanks for the 35 bits. Alright. What the fuck is going on here? What are the Philadelphia Fusion gonna run? Look, the Washington Justice are running a Zen here on the high ground defense, anticipating Philly to be running some Winston-based comp. Which I think makes a lot of sense on Kings Row, because your Zen has the high ground the whole time. But... oh, the Philly Fusion are using the Hog Sigma double sniper. They're stealing the Apex strats to kill Washington. Oh my god, and Decay planks. How could I have ever doubted Philly? How could I have ever doubted Philly? I thought they would only have a day to prep. I thought that this might be a trap game. No. These guys are too smart. Too smart and too good. Sado on Hog. I was theorizing about this yesterday. Bren, did you know that Sado is has a top 20 DPS account and actually got higher aim lab scores by like 10% than Carpe, who was the second best on Philly?
Do you subscribe to Sado Facts?
My chat was telling me yesterday.
How do you know all of this?
My chat was telling me. God, look how zoned out the Washington Justice's tank line are.
God, Tuba though.
Oh, Tuba's fucking though. This is actually so important.
Comp is,
you have nothing to stop the Tracer.
Yes, quite a susceptible backline.
Yeah. They don't get a tick out of it as well. Even though they killed Decay and zoned everyone out. Holy shit, Tuba's fucking. Okay. Funny Astro and Ivy are now deep in enemy territory as well. Huh. This is very odd. If Ivy comes out the better end of this trade with the Mercy Ash duo, they've just cracked open the entire point. Fury's trying to get them to play the point while Sutter plays high ground as well. This is weird. I think normally the Sigma would want to play on the high ground and create space for the snipers, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe your Hog is just too vulnerable on the low ground against the Zen. Yo, this is really fucking spread out. It's difficult to get a feel for where everyone is positioned. Like, where the fuck even is Carpe right now? Ivy's in hotel after having been miles behind them.
Ooh.
God. I feel like Philly are just brutalizing them with individual talent now. Like, the positioning was good, but they ended up winning based on hitting their shots more than anything there, I feel.
Bro, you know if they beat Justice, what is it? Philly versus the #1 seed. They're going to be playing against Shanghai if they qualify. I think.
Yes. Yeah.
The way that'll work.
God, Philly Shanghai. What an incredible match to start things out. By the way, I think Shock are going to fucking ruin the Seoul Dynasty in that first game. Assuming that they're able to practice and quarantine isn't too bad, etc., etc. Like, if they play right now.
Can happen in 3 weeks. That's the thing.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Seoul could really level up their game. But Seoul look like the weakest of the of the four.
The Fisher-Price team currently.
Not by an enormous long shot, but they definitely look the weakest. All right, Bob contesting. Oh, Tuba continues to be big. And Sado's weak, and he's surrounded. Sado's definitely going to die here. Alarm late on the trance. And the res has already been burnt on Carpe here.
Oh, they can't burst Janu. Oh, Carpe gets a headshot.
Wow. That is ridiculous. Presumably a Discord headshot as well.
Yeah.
I didn't see, but...
I mean, he was... They got Flux on him, and then he had his Breather, and then...
And the trance. I mean, Aim God was trancing at the time.
And the Dragon Strike. Yeah. Whilst Aim God was trancing, and they still get the kill because of the headshot. Nasty.
I mean, this is... Considering King's Row, the Washington Justice's comp is probably like the best comp that you could pick for this map. This is a really cool, interesting idea from Philly. Even if they don't win the map, at least they weren't just hammering their heads into the brick wall, you know what I mean? Like, they actually came out with something that could work. Oh, the rock on the bobble, and they even end up finishing him off because the sightline is just so long for the Hanzo. Very difficult for this Zarya to be able to face. I feel like this is the period of time, by the way, where Seoul will look better than Washington. Because Seoul actually has the flexibility to swap over to, like, Hog Diva comps or Hog Sigma comps to mirror if they need to. But Justice can't. At least at the moment they can't. Maybe if they make it to the top 4. What a shot!
Oh my god.
Put in Raw? That's how you lose, Joe Razor. That is how you literally lose.
Put in Raw! You gotta be kidding me.
I mean, that's just an unfortunate situation of the composition and style that Justice have chosen, you know? They don't have the personnel to be flexible and good. So they've chosen to be good. Which makes sense.
You gotta be kidding me.
Ivy and Carpe getting set up on the high grounds. What is Tuba doing? I feel like we haven't really seen Tuba's POV all that much, but he is the most important player for the Washington Justice here. The chaos that he can... There he is. Oh, he's up top getting 1v1 by Carpe.
Oh, Decay's dead.
Yeah, Decay's going to die here as well.
Oh my god.
I love this from Philly. They are just abusing the lack of flexibility in the tank line of Decay and Janu.
Yeah.
And this... I know that APAC seems like a bit of a meme at the moment to anybody that's watching, and they're used to kind of the rigid manner of NA. But this is an area that I do actually think APAC is ahead. Is like, they've figured out the rotation of Hog Ball, Hog Sigma, Hog Zarya, and what counters it. Whereas the NA teams haven't figured out how, like, if you're playing against the Justice and they can only play Hog Zarya, you can play very weird niche comps like this Hog Sigma double sniper because they can't change their comp. They can't even play the Diva. So I think that the APAC teams...
Decay has played the Diva earlier on in the playoffs.
No, he didn't, did he?
Yeah, for some rare moments.
Did he really?
When they needed it, yeah.
I don't remember that happening at all. Who was that against? Oh, it was just for stalling in overtime, right?
It was like, yeah. I remember it happening on Numbani. I can't remember against what team.
Was that against Paris when he had to come back in when they were attacking or something?
Possibly.
What if they did Decay Hog Janu Diva? Yeah, but you don't really want to swap that just in the middle of a... I mean, they could swap that in the middle of a map, but then you're getting rid of ultimate charge on both players. Does that really matter at the end of the day? Maybe not, but it's not something they'll have practiced, I think. Because it doesn't have to be run very often. Decay's head hitbox there wiggled really weirdly after he shot himself in the foot with a right click. I'm wondering whether that was a deliberate tech. Is that a thing?
Oh my god.
Is that a thing when you cross a sniper sightline as a Zarya to shoot yourself in the foot because your head wiggles? My chat says yes, but I don't know whether they're just trying to be 2-5 head.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, no,
No, I do that constantly. It's a tech to move faster. Yeah, but he wasn't jumping. He was just shooting himself. I'm not going to think about it too much. I don't know whether to believe you guys. It's a top 500 player. You wouldn't know it. I mean, I actually wouldn't, but... I haven't been paying attention to this defense at all, though. What were Philly running? They were running the May. What an odd idea to run the May.
Gives them, I suppose, some point sustain. You can contest with the May for long periods of time while your team potentially gets a pick and works around.
I mean, the May is just going to get brutalized if they try and play the point, though, right?
Yes.
You would rather have a Tracer to be able to contest the point because you can at least dodge. Like, you don't take as much damage. Oh, Funny Astro just got sniped early on. Fair enough. I mean, maybe we just didn't get to see how that comp worked properly. I wasn't paying attention anyway, though, because I was thinking about the Zarya bobblehead. Jiggle physics. Oh, Ivy takes down Tuba with a right click. That's huge. Ivy's May is incredibly good. Oh, what a hook!
Oh, wow.
Oh, and the May wall separates you off from the rest of the team as well, so you can't get bubbled. Can't get bubbled, can't get peeled for at all. I mean, that's a little similar to, like, Stage 4 meta last year. The ice pick.
A little similar.
Oh, and the May saves them as well. Oh. God, Ivy's so smart.
Oh.
Also, the Blizzard. Blizzard is really... Blizzard hasn't been a big ultimate in the latter half of 2020 because everyone's been playing mobile compositions. But against the Justice, a Blizzard is devastating. The Hog and the Zarya just can't get out of it. Yeah.
Sometimes it wouldn't be devastating because they do play split sometimes. Enough that I think on some maps you would find it hard to get value. But on King's Row here, it's GG, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're all clumped together anyway, just because the map works.
Oh, Whole Hogged peel.
I don't think that's going to be enough.
Shadow Whole Hogged on half HP.
Yeah. And then also, really nice flank from Stitch. Wow, Philly look like they've done weeks of counter prep. I know that sounds stupid, but they look like the most prepared team we've seen at all against any Hog comp. Philly looked by far and away the most prepared, and they had one day to know whether or not they were playing the Justice. I mean, I was skeptical about whether they would use that weak break effectively. My fucking god, they used this weak break effectively. Unless this is all one-day prep and they're just mega geniuses, but this must have been the weak break. Oh, Carpe goes over to the Widow now as well, now that he has the big sightlines towards the end, but Tuba's already up on the high ground. Oh, they put Ivy over on the Hanzo as well. They're playing double sniper on D here.
Carpe kill Stitch. They're gonna res that?
I don't know whether you even bother, to be honest.
Pre-fire.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Wow. I mean, he had the Sonic Arrow on him. He knew where he was, but still, that is ridiculous.
Oh.
Aim God, hello. Aim God's burnt res and got another pick onto Ivy.
Stitch versus Carpe.
I mean, normally you would give the edge 100% to Carpe, but playoff Stitch has been just a different beast. He could go ham here. And also, just by taking control of this high ground, he's already just got so much position for Washington. Oh, Carpe wins it. Huge.
Oh, Carpe wins this.
Tuba's doing a great job at just harassing him, though. Really good job. And Stitch is just playing tight, safe angles. I mean, not safe enough to avoid getting killed by Ivy, but I like the way that Stitch was playing that. No, Funny Astro. You're not Neptuno. Doesn't Tuba play Hanzo? He has done in the past, yeah. He was mostly known as a projectile player in the past. Genji, Pharah, Hanzo, that kind of thing. Doomfist. What the fuck? My stream paused. What the fuck?
Yeah, mine paused as well. I had to restart.
Okay, that might have broken the sync for you guys. Watch. God. Discord Orb, damage boost. I mean, presumably damage coming out from both of the tanks as well. The Pulse Bomb! Through the trance. Tuba has to play like a nut against this double sniper, but he really is. I don't think this is savable at all here. The Justice are just going to cap. But still, on Justice's best map, you finish with more time in the time bank. Very strong performance from the Fusion. You definitely take those.
I've accidentally just closed my stream.
Tuba is playing so well. I did not think this guy was particularly good throughout the regular season, but I thought that was mostly because he was on the wrong roles. Like, he was forced to play a lot of hit scan this year. But then he just plays the Tracer in the playoffs, a role that I don't think he's ever played before at a top level. And he looks... Okay, he doesn't have anyone to shut him down on the Philadelphia Fusion's composition, but still, you've still got to, like,
Tuba's definitely elevated his gameplay.
Yeah.
Tuba, Stitch... I mean, how many times are we going to have this conversation? Yeah, I actually think that the Justice fans are deaf whenever we
pick up the players.
But yeah, I mean, all the players on Justice are just playing so well.
Yeah, they are. I also think it's really funny how the Justice fans, Bren, have been devoid of hope for an entire year. Right? They're constantly like the SpongeBob meme of the guy looking through the window and everybody else having fun while their team loses over and over and over again. Yeah. And now they're finally getting a taste of victory, knocking out team after team after team. And it's still not enough for them. They still want to win and be loved. They must have both because they've seen other teams have both. They need mommy and daddy to love them as well as winning. Oh, that's a cute puppy.
World doesn't work like that.
You just broke your diatribe there.
Yeah, you can't force people to love you. You must first force them to fear you and respect you, and then the love will come over time. Isn't that right, Beth?
Just like a Yorkie.
All right, what are Philly running? So Philly are running the same composition here. Oh, and Carpe kills Tuba. Love you. Carpe,
that might have just
and
changed the
Alarm playing
game.
on the
Carpe
high
getting
ground.
that pick in the back line.
Totally good,
was
yeah.
forced to go over to the Hanzo. It's a role that he's not unfamiliar with.
Oh, AimGod! Oh, he's going to get the res anyway, though. But AimGod got the pick last time on Funny Astro, and that's what set things up. So now that there's no res available, potential. But with so little time available now, Washington Justice have to force things. They have to play the point. And they're just going to fall into taking so much damage from Alarm and Carpe.
Oh, my God.
Still winnable. Oh, what a great hook. What a great hook. How did he not get killed? Oh, it was the May wall again. Ivy's a fucking genius, man. These walls are so good. I would not have thought about the May whatsoever in this comp. But Ivy's playing it like just genius level walls. It's actually not like genius, it's reaction times. Like, he's so fast.
Hear me out.
He's so fast. Wow.
The losing moment in that push was Arc not damage boosting Stitch.
When he went for the shot at the top onto Carpe?
Yeah. Because Carpe immediately put in enough damage to kill, I think it was Janu. And if he had a damage boost, that would have been an insta-kill, and Res was off cooldown.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing, though. You just can't know that in the moment, right?
You must always keep the damage boost on Stitch.
Let Decay and Janu die. Fuck it.
Yes.
Never damage boost AimGod for the consistent damage. Is Ivy the best May in the league? Yes, I think so. I mean, over the course of the entire season, the only people that were up there with him were Fleda, Erster in the past, but you can't really have Erster's name in the conversation for this year. Rascal, yeah. Haxal as well, actually, playing very well on the May, yes. And Prophet was pretty good as well. Nico was kind of pog. Actually, that's true. Yeah, Nico was pretty good. But nobody other than Erster, and Erster kind of fell off this season because in my opinion, because the Atlanta Reign as a team fell off as well. But maybe it was Erster individually too. But nobody apart from Erster we've ever really seen combine the incredible brain for walls and positioning with ridiculous icicle damage. Ivy's got both, and he's wonderful at both.
Oh! Oh!
Wow. I mean, that's just already a win. Yeah, they've already won.
It's over.
Thing is, as well, you could not really ask for a better composition for Philly to try than double sniper.
Yeah.
Carpe, Ivy, if they wanted to, they could run EQO. Sado on the Hog, though, as well. Very impressed with Sado on the Hog. He played that really well. Look at him just quaffing his Diet Coke. He knows that they're on.
Let's fucking go, Philly. Let's fucking go.
I think this is the first time ever that the Washington Justice have had to pick an assault map. I think they've always won the hybrid map. I could be wrong with that. I'm just pulling that off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've ever seen Washington Justice pick an assault map, and I assume they're going to pick Anubis.
No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care.
Yeah, true. Disciple of Brian with a hot take. I've been saying this for a while, but Ivy has a much better argument for MVP this season than Carpe. I don't think that Ivy has a much better argument. I mean, even if you could make an argument, it would not be a much better argument. I mean, Carpe's leading the league in terms of KD. On track. I believe he's still on track to set a record for the highest ever season KD over the course of a whole season, which, yeah, is partly because they've had the chance to play against the Atlantic bottom teams a lot. But, you know, people in the previous seasons got to do that as well. You know, the whole of New York got to do that, the entirety of 2018. The Shot got to do that in 2019 as well. So, oh God, look at that arrow through Ash's fucking neck. So that's still insanely impressive. But Ivy has been really important for them at the beginning of the season, playing the Mei, later on in the season on the Genji. I mean, he got subbed out for a period of time during the Summer Showdown where they also looked fantastic. But I don't think I agree, and I definitely disagree with a much better argument, but I can see why people would make an argument. Now, I personally am not too bothered about this hot take because I don't personally think that Carpe's MVP argument is that compelling. I wouldn't have Carpe as my... I think Carpe might be like my 5th or 6th place MVP for this season. Something like that. Like, I don't think that he has that strong a case for MVP. G Batavs, thanks for the 16 months. That's a lot of months of content. It truly is. Thank you for supporting me that entire time, Jay. AMPM Adventures, thank you for the new Twitch Prime sub as well. You've joined the squad. And Penguin Gamer 2, thanks for the 23 months as well. You've been around for a long time. All right. Someone in my chat called Z-Rock says reverse sweep incoming. Could happen. They need to win the assault map, but then whatever the escort map is, Justice have a pretty good chance of being able to win. I mean, do they actually?
No, man, look at the way Philly are playing.
Yeah, Philly are playing like fucking god tier Overwatch right now. It could happen. It's within the realms of possibility, but Justice don't really have the same ability to adapt as Philly do. They're not as flexible. Shut the fuck up, Dominate. Predominate. Yeah, you've actually put the fucking hashtag wrong, you moron, Anchor. It's P-Domginate. It's not PJ Dominate, like you're trying to dominate someone in bed with your pajamas on. Ivy went 28-11 on Hanzo. God damn. I mean, not even Hanzo. Also the Mei. Good God. Janu has 27 deaths. That's 8 more than the next highest player, which is Stitch. They're doing such a good job of abusing Janu. Just the focus fire and the decisiveness of their engages is so clean. Judge my hot take. The new All-Stars skin is not worth 200 tokens. You didn't like the All-Stars skin? I mean, I've only seen the advert once, but they looked pretty good to me. They look pretty good to me. That is,
But also, art and taste is subjective, so some people aren't born with taste buds, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, some people are dumb. Is Sado a better MVP candidate than Carpe? No, I don't think so. No. I mean, Sado's a very good player. One of the best main tanks in the league this year. But he's not an MVP candidate. Now, Fury is interesting. But because Fury during the regular season, I think, pretty much split game time evenly with Poco. Makes it very hard to argue for those kind of guys like Super, Smurf, Poco, Fury. Sado is behind Fearless and Smurf, and neither of them made it to MVP. Yeah, I think Sado, though, this season has been more well-rounded than Fearless. Possibly. Like, Fearless has been a higher level on the Winston. And possibly also the Rhine, although that's pretty close. But Fearless's Orisa has not been as good as Shadows, and it's by a more considerable margin. It's still been good, but not. It's been a noticeable drop off, whereas Shadow doesn't really have a hero where there's a noticeable drop off anymore. The Justice picked Volskaya as the next map. Oof. Oof. I mean, I expected them to pick Anubis. Anubis defense on A is really good for running Hog Farah. Volskaya can be as well, though. You can run the Hog Farah on defense when you hold tight to the choke. I don't think it's going to work, though. I think they're just going to get exploited on...
What if?
On offense. The assault maps are bad, though. What do you mean? What if Philly mirror them?
No. What if they change the comp?
What if they sub in Raw?
Sacrilege. I know it's sacrilege. No. I wouldn't. No, that's not sacrilege. That's just silly. The what if?
Alarm. By the way, I want to see damage numbers for Alarm because in all of these highlight clips that I'm watching, Alarm is hitting ridiculous headshots.
Okay. Tuba on Hansa.
Why is my chat spamming Raw?
Because we were talking about Raw coming in.
Oh, right. Okay. My chat is saying he's actually in. Is there a tweet saying he's subbed in?
No.
He's in? Really?
No.
He's in?
No.
Pog?
Oh, no.
And then someone put a tweet and it's from steak_man.
No.
They can't be putting Raw in right now. Alarm has been my MVP. Every hero he plays is top 3 standard in the world. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's not my MVP pick, but he's my second, and it's incredibly close. So, yeah, I totally understand anybody that picks Alarm for MVP. God, Philly are so smart. Just looking over that map, Ivy's May did so much work. And it's such a counterintuitive pick against the Washington Justice. But it works so well. What a genius pick. Who was my MVP? I picked Void. I think Void has been outrageously good this entire season long. Unbelievably consistent. And the largest reason that the Shanghai Dragons are able to play the way that they do.
Void got my vote.
If Shanghai changed their off-tank, they would cease to be Shanghai. Whereas if they changed their main tank, they could still operate in the same way. To be fair, if they changed Fleder, they would have to change things around as well. Because I don't think there's anybody that plays really the same as Fleder in the league. But for me, between Void and Fleder, Void makes the space for Fleder to do his work. So I think Void is more important. I mean, obviously, that's a subjective analysis of the situation, but Fleder wouldn't really be able to do what Fleder does without Void being as good as he is. Whereas Void would still continue to make space for whatever DPS partner he was playing with. It just wouldn't get capitalized on as well. So, that's why I voted for Void. But I think there are many valid arguments for MVP. I think that Void, Alarm, Fleder, all very valid MVP picks. There probably are some other ones that I would agree with as well, but those are the top 3 that I think are very reasonable. Wolf said that Fleder can't play McCree. Fleder's McCree is nasty good. Maybe Wolf meant that Fleder can't play McCree in that specific composition that they were playing. Lord knows people misconstrue what I'm talking about enough for me to give other casters benefit of the doubt. Lips is better. Yeah, actually, Lips is nasty good. I think Lips is probably a little bit better than Fledders is, but Fledders still does have a very good McCree. Why was Eileen an MVP candidate? Probably because at the time where the MVPs were coming out, it was just after the Charge had won the Summer Showdown, and Eileen was playing the Tracer and the Genji to a high level after previously having played like Doom and stuff for them. So I guess people had a bit of recency bias, to be honest. Lip is better than DM, I think. Ooh, that is a hot take. Just on hit scan, I am not sure I agree. Maybe on just McCree, Lip is better, because Lip is kind of freaky on the McCree, but I think we just haven't seen DM play enough this season. Lip is more flexible? I don't even know whether Lip is more flexible. Lip just plays other things. Like, DM plays the Tracer, whereas Lip doesn't really play the Tracer, at least as far as I know. Lip plays the Sombra, obviously, but DM has played Sombra in the past as well. You know, DM's shown us the Zarya before, so I don't think that either of them are less necessarily more flexible than the other, but they just fit into different niches. And Sombra's such a powerful hero and works so well for Shanghai's style that, of course, they're going to run that whenever they can. Violet MVP? I'm not personally a fan of Violet MVP because any argument you can make about Violet, you can just make a better argument for Alarm. That's where the Violet MVP case falls down for me, is that okay, maybe you could argue that Violet's perhaps a bit more clutch on the Zen and the BAP, but Alarm has a wider hero pool. He has played a larger variety of heroes over the course of the season. Now, Violet has actually started playing, especially in the playoffs, much more of the Moira and the Ana. So maybe that won't be a valid point. And actually, towards the latter half of the season, or latter quarter of the season, Violet actually started picking up the Brig as well, so some of these points are eroded slightly, but I still think whatever argument you can make for Violet, you can almost make it better for Alarm. So I'm not really on board with the Violet MVP discussion, even though he's incredibly good. Violet has the best BAP and it isn't close. It actually is really close. I think Alarm's BAP is fucking ridiculous. You look at the numbers that Alarm puts out, and you look at how impressive Alarm is in any position that he plays the BAP in. He gets ridiculous value from that. He's just not as flashy as Violet. I still would say that Violet is better, but I don't think it's head and shoulders better on the BAP. Fusion versus Shanghai, Carpe versus DM, Hisu versus Lip, Sado versus Fearless, Astro versus Lee Jae-gon. Wow, yeah, just everything about Fusion versus Shanghai is an amazing matchup. Void versus Fury? Fucking hell, man. It's unbelievable. Alarm Izayaki, like every single part of that, it truly is two super teams clashing. Because while the Shock are an incredibly good team, the Shock aren't really a super team. And that's not an insult, that's a compliment. Like, Shock didn't pick up players that were already good and put them together. Shock picked up players that were pretty good and made them really good together. Like, Shock's greatest strength is their team coordination and how well they play with each other, and the players have gotten better whilst on the Shock. Whereas for Shanghai and for Philly, they picked up players that were already good and made like super teams around them. Oh, this is the MVP announcement.
Can't believe they gave Custard a trophy.
Maybe he was the only one that would go and pick it up. Oh, this is the piece. Oh, I'm listening to this. This is interesting.
Clutch is everything in life. He is the quintessential damage-dealing player.
3 words for this year's T-Mobile MVP. Fleta is meta.
That's a pretty cool way of announcing it, actually. I quite like that intro.
Whatever damage dealer was going to have the greatest impact and play it at the absolute highest levels.
It's a bit of a redemption arc from his time over in Seoul.
It's Fleta Pog! I'm perfectly fine with Fleta getting MVP this year. I think he really is like an incredible elite level talent. Probably the best. In fact, I think, I don't even think it's probably. Over the course of the regular season, he was the best DPS player. Just plays every hero, elite on pretty much everything he's played. Fleta's had a couple of times this year where he's been a bit of a liability, but, you know, like, those have been very specific niche situations. Like the Genji in the Summer Showdown meta where you had to carry. And like Reaper currently where he looks like he doesn't have the best understanding of how to play it in the front line. But other than that, every hero he plays is absolutely at the elite level. This video is really sick. And Fleta's got so many highlight clips from this season. Yeah, I knew who the MVP was. We had to record videos about it. QuanCon, thank you for the Prime. DevCon42 as well, thank you for the 6 months. Akatsuki as well. Oh, that was the hot take from earlier. Didn't people think Fleta was washed? Yeah. I mean, that's the other part that's so impressive about this season, is that Fleta really hasn't lived up to his expectations in 2018 and 2019. He was expected to be a superstar, and he ended up just being a solid player that occasionally showed flashes of brilliance. But this year, with a better team around him, a team that can make space for him and allow him to do what he, you know, live up to his full potential, he's truly looked elite. Like that's what's so impressive, is that the Shanghai Dragons have enabled him to become the top level player that we always knew he really could be. Carpe got robbed? Get the fuck out of here. Fleta's been a better player than Carpe this entire season. Well, maybe not the entire season. At the beginning, they were playing different roles, and you could argue that Carpe had more impact, but over the course of the whole of the season, Fleta has definitely been the better DPS player than Carpe has. Void robbed, to be honest. Void and Alarm were my MVP picks ahead of Fleta, but Fleta was my number 3. Did Fleta know before the announcement? Yeah, this interview with Fleta is pre-recorded. This is not live. It's got subtitles at the bottom, chat. Keep up. I hope Alarm gets Rookie of the Year. I mean, in my opinion, Alarm is definitely Rookie of the Year. Lee Jae-gon is a pretty close second. And then you've got guys like Ants and Lip and Krong. But yeah, for me, Alarm is head and shoulders. Maybe not head and shoulders, but he is definitely Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Whoa, they got a cake for him? They're wearing the May Melee Champion shirts as well. Oh, look at... Who is that at the front? Who is that was holding the cake that got scared by the party poppers? Is that Void? God, that's amazing. That's fucking hilarious. I liked how he was like flinching as people shot party poppers at his back. That's hilarious. If Ants carries his team to win the championship, would he be Rookie of the Year? No, Rookie of the Year is only for the regular season. God, that's fucking hilarious. The fact that Void was flinching when they were popping party poppers at his back is so funny.
If they don't use my congratulations message, then
Why? What did you say?
Yeah, then I'm getting fired.
Congratulations, Flutter, on a well-deserved MVP for 2020.
They didn't use it.
They didn't use your MVP?
They didn't use anything. They didn't use anything from me.
Why? What did you say in the congrats video?
I can't remember. But they didn't use anything I sent in.
Were you really hungover?
No. I was very enthusiastic about it. I didn't use anything.
Bren's getting fired because he's biased against the Washington Justice. More news on that later.
All my time wasted.
They did use your casting. Headshot after headshot after headshot.
But
literally only because of that dumb fucking cleanup kill on Widow. Awful MVP. You have got to be trolling, Kiddo Val. Gotta be trolling. I'm not even going to engage that argument. That is a Papega clap take. Asimar, thank you for the 5 months of Prime. Does Flutter have an argument for being the GOAT? No. Let's not overreact, people. He did not have a very good 2018 or 2019. Like, he didn't have a top level 2018 and 2019. He has no argument for being a GOAT player. QuantCon, thanks for the 100 bits. There seems to be an anomalous fibrous growth on the right side of your head. You should get it looked at. Yeah, there is. I need to shave it off, actually. I still haven't shaved it off. Who was second and third? I've no idea, actually. They don't announce who is second and third place for MVP. Who is the GOAT, then? Ants? yeah, Ants is probably GOAT, to be honest. Prophet is the GOAT, no question. I don't think it's actually a lock. I don't think Prophet has... I don't think there is a GOAT player at the moment. I don't think anyone's yet achieved enough to be considered GOAT status. But possibly, depending on the results of the grand finals this, the end of this season, we might get to a position where we can try and crown somebody. Like, if the Seoul Dynasty actually win this season, Prophet does have a very good case for being GOAT. As it is, if he goes out in the first round of the playoffs, then, the first round of the Final Four, rather, then it gets weaker, because if the Philadelphia Fusion win, then Carpe's got a competitive kind of claim to it. You could even argue that Fury does, considering he would be the first back-to-back winner of the Overwatch League, and arguably, inarguably actually, a top 2 off-tank the entire time that he has been at the top of the competitive scene in the last 3 years. So, Fury at that point is reaching some kind of GOAT status. Yeah, sorry, not back-to-back. I mean repeat. Sorry, not back-to-back. The 2-time, but not the back-to-back. Just repeat winners. Also, if the San Francisco Shock end up winning again, then they start to reinforce their ability to try and reach for some kind of GOAT status. But the Shock, all of their players didn't really come online at all in 2018, so none of them have GOAT status. Yeah, okay, let's focus in on the game. What's happening here?
I called this.
You called what?
Decay on Hog.
Oh, yeah, fuck. I didn't even realize. Decay is running the Hog and Janu is on the Diva. And they're going to run the Pharah defense. I like this. I like this.
Holy moly.
I mean, this was a necessary adaptation probably for the Washington Justice, but Decay has died immediately. I mean, they've not practiced this. Probably. In all likelihood, they have not practiced this. And I've never seen Decay play Hog before. I assume that he's got a good Hog, because he's good at everything else he plays, and Hog, normally DPS players are pretty good at it, but I've never seen him play it.
Trouble is they've assumed the positioning and rotated around, so now Decay's cut off. Is he going to be able to get back to the rest of his team?
And Ivy and Carpe have got really nice sightlines here to be able to block anybody that comes to contest the point. They let them into the choke point far too easily.
Yeah. Well.
No, this is just a GG. I mean, it's a nice idea from Washington. you know, you feel you're 2-0 down. The Philadelphia Fusion's got a good read on you, so you've got to change something. I don't hate the strategy, but clearly not practiced on it, and Philly are just rolling them right now. I was hoping that this would be an epic match, but, I mean, Kings Row was pretty close, and so was the first map, but this now looks like Philly are just going to bop them in a 3-0. It would have been more fun if we'd gone to the escort map first, because the escort map would be really close. Assault maps are just the worst for the Washington Justice. Decay again dies first. Discord Orb is just so huge here as well. God, Soul is gonna get fucking dunked. Wait, hello, Tuba. Hard for the snipers to get into position attacking point B here. I'm surprised they haven't gone for some kind of lineup change. They got a tick, but... Well, Carpe is just going to kind of sit in main and around this right side, and then Ivy's going to try and push around the left with a Mercy pocket.
Weird, isn't it?
I mean, they can take high ground control, but...
I feel like Carpe is very susceptible.
I think Ivy needs to push Decay here. Like, Ivy needs to be all the way at the back where Decay is. They need to push Decay out of this high ground and put Fury and Ivy on this back high ground. Okay, they're going for it now. This is something that Shanghai do really well whenever they play. Oh, Aim God pushing that when he's been Sonic Arrowed. Oof.
I don't think he knew he was Sonic Arrowed.
Yeah, he has no idea, right? But he's just kind of wandering into the sightline anyway. Just to get a better angle on people because his team's desperate to be healed.
Finding value at the flank.
And it is a slow composition, the double sniper, so it doesn't really have the best finishing power on Assault. I think Philly will have to swap comps at some point here. Double sniper just doesn't close out team fights very well. They're not going to be able to kill people faster than the Justice respawn. Unless they get some, like, crazy early picks. Oh, shit. Sorry. Wait. Why are you guys spamming OBS Echo? What the fuck is that?
Because the Observer left.
Oh, right. I thought you were spamming that because my stream was echoing or something. But then why on earth would my stream viewers know that I use OBS? People don't. I don't know. I'm just being dumb.
No, it's not looking too bad for Justice.
Yeah, but I think Philly should be swapping the comp here. Like, they've got a good counter comp on point A, but they need a comp that has some finishing power.
Carpe on McCree. Is that the switch?
I mean, it might be because they can
damage into Tuba.
Yeah, they can escort Carpe around the left-hand side and put him on the high ground. I mean, it's weird. We're getting into kind of untested territory right now with these comps, but it might work. I would almost rather see Carpe on the Tracer, maybe.
Oh, he killed Tuba.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it. I think it's... Oh, wow.
Oh!
Hooked during his hook animation.
Slept. What?
No, I mean that Decay was going for a hook and Sado had already hooked him. Just faster reactions.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah, this is it. The Carpe swap on the McCree was pretty smart, honestly. It really worked out.
Nice.
Okay, well played. They just needed that little bit of more consistent damage to finish people off and actually have some finishing power in the team fight rather than the inconsistent pick of the Widowmaker. Still... actually not winnable. I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is winnable. The Washington Justice are going to be pushing into probably double sniper and alarm on Zen. And if not double sniper, they're going to be pushing into like Ash Tracer, Hanzo Tracer, something like that. And that is so difficult to push into. Like Justice should have been best on defense. Their point A Pharah defense should have been the thing that saved them on Volskaya, if anything was going to. So I think it's GG already now, actually. Still, obviously, time to clutch, time to throw. No game is won until the very end, but if everyone plays normally, this should be done, I think. Fucking hell, Ivy's good. Die how you lived, you cowards. Show us the decay Zarya. Give us the Janu Hog. Take the L with some dignity. I like this adaptation. I mean, I don't like this adaptation. I assume the Justice I'm not going to be playing Decay Winston. Actually, I mean, you know what? It makes sense. That's the horrible thing about this, is that in order to break the double sniper, you really have to play dive with, like, hardcore dive. But Justice just don't have the players to be able to play that. So it would just be a throw to try and play dive right now, because their players have never played it before. Philadelphia hard abusing the inflexibility of Washington. Tuba, I think, is going to find it very hard to stay in the air after the new Pharah changes. He needs to stay behind buildings, out of sight lines, and still stay in the air. And I'm not even sure that that's possible on Volskaya at this kind of area anymore.
You can, kind of.
I mean, I saw Hydration doing it, and he was just on the floor constantly.
Oh my god.
But maybe that's just hydration.
He just doesn't miss.
He doesn't. Look how much Tuba's on the floor. He really is on the floor a lot. I think these Pharah changes have made a big difference.
Oh. No.
Oh, they know the Pharah's coming around here.
Oh, what a shot. And it was over the water.
Nice. Oh, yeah, it can't be res. Wow. What a sick headshot. What on earth is this copy pasta in my chat? Why are you guys spamming that?
I find it hard to be filled with so much hate when I see Justice just flopping against us over and over again.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's compositions like this that make me realize that they never stood a chance.
I mean, they definitely did, though, you know? It just took, it was, like we said on Platchat repeatedly, it was just a matter of time until the counter was figured out.
Yeah.
It was all just a product of time. Which, I mean, in some sense, yeah, they didn't have a chance once they actually got to the finals, because then, you know, the best teams in the world are going to be spending 2 weeks specifically counter-striking them, but they did well.
I can't help but feel sad for the players, the Justice players, you know?
I mean, what about the fucking other players that they knocked out? That's what people always don't talk about.
I feel bad for them as well.
People are like, oh my god.
I feel bad for all of them.
Bren and Sideshow just shitting on the Washington Justice. How can you do that when the players have been trying so hard? What about all the fucking other players that have been trying really hard and then they just get randomly beaten by the Washington Justice who come out of fucking nowhere? What about those players? What about feeling bad about them?
I wouldn't feel bad for them if Justice looked competitive against Philly.
But we had no idea that Justice wouldn't look competitive. Justice did look competitive against Shock.
At the start, I don't have regrets about me, starting a crusade against the Washington Justice. But I do see now that we were really just bullying a small child.
No, they were a very dangerous team. Very dangerous team. They just got figured out. It is kind of disappointing to see that they've been so heavily figured out. Like wow.
I mean, it launches the Dragon Strike in the sky.
Yeah. I mean, they're just rolling them, really, aren't they?
Oh, it's done. Oh, the pack is sealed. Wow.
Justice can't even be mad, though, I feel.
Yeah,
you know,
they
like
made a very, very good run.
they did so well.
And they knocked out a bunch of teams that did way better in the regular season.
They got more wins in the playoffs than they did in the entirety of the regular season. They made everyone shit scared of them in the playoffs. Like, genuinely scared of the Washington Justice, the 12th seed. They overperformed all their estimations. The only problem now for the Justice is being realistic going into 2021. Like, you still have to be realistic. You can't just ignore the fact that you got lucky with the meta. You still have to make changes for next season, and I fucking hope they do, because if the Washington Justice keep this same roster for next year without making any adjustments, I'm gonna mold, because that's like the worst case scenario, you know? Like, a team just goes on a run at the end of the season and then thinks they're gonna be really good next year and then flops again. I can't handle that. I want Justice to be good next year, and I don't mean just good at the end of the season, I mean good all season long. Bin the roster? This one isn't gonna do shit? No, what? I mean, they need like 2 changes and they'll be a competent team. 1 change and they'd be a pretty decent team, but 2 changes and they'll be a mid-table team. They're all laughing, fuck you haters. Yeah, I mean, the Justice should be incredibly proud of what they achieved. Incredibly proud. Maybe if Decay keeps on playing like this, then he would be the GOAT. Chat, please stop talking about the GOAT. Please stop talking about GOAT shit. GOAT means greatest of all time. All time. Like, 4 years. No, 5 years. 2016, 17, 18, 19, 2020. That's 5 years of Overwatch. Decay does not have an argument for being the GOAT. I mean, even if you weigh recency more than the very beginning, which I think you should when you consider these kind of things, because the level of play increases over time, so it's more difficult to be excellent at the end of the game than it is at the beginning. Even if you do that, he has no debate about it. Good God. Happy Mr. 18, thank you for the 6 months. Nico, thanks for the 5 months of Prime as well. Do you think they should change how the MVP is chosen? Maybe instead of 1 vote, you have to give the MVP candidates points out of 100, depending on how much you think they deserve it. I think there is a system like that for the other people outside of the fan vote. Like, because the MVP vote, I think it's only like 25% fan.
Here?
I think the Philly kind of had the same mentality as the 2019 Shock, because after Philly's lost to Shock, they are looking reinvigorated. Yeah, I definitely look at reinvigorated. They look very, very good. Max, thanks for the 2 months of Prime as well. What are these tweets? What are you guys spamming me with tweets for? What are these fucking tweets? Bad Pachamari, Krydex. All right, let me take a look at some of these tweets. What is this? What is this?
So in the year 2, season 2 championship, Shanghai dominates Seoul Dynasty.
Wait, what?
So in the year 2, season 2 championship,
I mean, he's off by a year.
Shanghai dominates Seoul Dynasty.
But that literally happened last week.
They're the new champions of Overwatch League. They complete what the Cleveland Browns have never been able to do. They go from not winning a game in year 1 to taking everything in year 2. We've also gotten rid of the MVP award because we just determined it was going to go to Fleta forever. And Doa, you're not here. Monty's casting with XQC.
What is going on? Oh, Monty's casting with XQC.
Okay. Super bizarre. It's really weird. But it's kind of good, though, so I don't mind it.
Wow. What a hilarious bit, actually, in terms of looking back on it now.
If you want to stay in this tournament, you're gonna have to do what I say.
Or what? Or you'll have to deal with me. What you say?
Hey, bro.
Sato Kaiba? When you speak to my brother that way, you dishonor me and the Battle City tournament. And besides, I have very little patience for
cheese comps.
What's your problem?
Wait a second, I'm going to pause while my sub sound plays, because I nearly missed the cheese comps there.
I have had literal nightmares about the Justice Decay and Jejanu coming into my room, and whilst I tried to escape, Stitch dinks me in the head from a nearby tree. Finally, the fusion have put them to rest.
Beacheza, thank you for the 3 quid. I imagine that that's really, really terrifying for you.
What's your problem? It's time you learn to show some respect. Whoa! Whoa, amazing! What's up with all these rare cards? I challenge you to a duel here and now. With one condition. You must use these rare cards to boost the dueling power of your pathetic deck. You're sure about this?
Is this from Yu-Gi-Oh?
With all these rare cards and my skill, there's no way I'll lose. Watch out, Kaiba. You're setting yourself up for a fall.
I don't understand where this is going to go.
It's time to duel. I just need to play a single card to teach you a lesson you won't forget. I summon Obelisk the Tormentor. Attack now! No!
Okay. What a fucking... You know what? When I watch videos like this, I realize that I am a boomer. And not just any boomer, a boomer that does not understand the world of... Is that anime? Is that anime? I don't have a fucking clue what's happening. Not a clue.
I'm gonna go.
Do you want to play some Valorant, though?
Later, yeah. I'm actually going to record the grand final prediction video now because...
Oh, shit, yeah, we have to do that at some point.
Hair and makeup. So
Really?
I'd rather do it sooner than later, yeah.
And it has to be done by Tuesday?
Yeah. Or Wednesday.
Okay.
I'd rather do it now, to be honest.
Okie dokie.
So I will be on at maybe 3 p.m.-ish.
Fair enough. I might play some Valorant on my own then, because I am determined to get up to Immortal today. I'm at Diamond 3. It's very feasible.
Please lose so you don't get ahead of me. You're already Diamond 3. And I'm like 1-1 away, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, good luck.
All right. See ya. Drink a Coke? I don't need a Coke. I'm already wired. I'm already wired. Can you link the Rookie of the Year for us? It hasn't been announced yet. No leak. No leak-a-renio. When is Rookie of the Year announced? I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't been able to really listen to this interview. Has Ivy said anything very interesting? Why do people hate the Justice so much? As a Justice fan, it makes me feel so shitty. I mean, I don't think you should feel shitty whatsoever. Your team just came 3rd in North America. Your team that you had no expectations for. Your team that has been disappointing year after year with no sign of hope just became the 3rd best team of 2020 in North America. You can't ask for the world here. You can't demand to be loved as well as respected. Start with one and develop the other. People mad that Justice got planked, but was there ever any other teams coming out of NA? Yes, I think there was a very real world in which the Washington Justice made it to the Final Four. I think this was a dangerous trap game for the Philadelphia Fusion. They had one day to know whether or not they were playing against the Justice. So if they didn't use this previous week prepping for both Shock and Justice, if they lost the game against the Shock, which they ended up doing, then they would have been entirely unprepared for this match. Now, obviously, the coaches and the players did an excellent job of prepping, but it's impossible for us to know that from the outside. So I thought there was a very real possibility that the Justice would win today, because Fusion would be unprepared, because they would have put 100% of their prep into just beating the Shock and going straight to the finals. I think they're also, I mean, the Washington Justice could have beaten the Shock in the first round had the Shock not adapted properly, and would have run all the way to the bracket to face the Philadelphia Fusion, might have beaten them in the upper bracket and secured their spot, or would have dropped down to face the Shock again and might have beaten them again. There was a very, very real world in which the Justice went to the Final Four. Are they saying in this interview that they came up with the Hog Sigma comp yesterday? Are they saying they came up with it? Because APAC has been playing this same stuff. So I would be interested to know whether they actually, you know, like, got inspiration at least from APAC, or whether they just separately came up with the same thing. Ivy just said that. Fucking hell, man. They're just geniuses then. I mean, I'm giving them credit for, like, effectively using the off week that they had to prep these counter comps as well. If the Fusion genuinely did this in one day, if what Ivy's saying is true, that they took one day and their coaches just went, oh, fuck, we have to play against the Justice. We know how they play. We've got a bunch of game tape on them. Let's prep a counter comp we think is really good. And they came up with this in one day. Genius. Like, unbelievable level genius. You can't take second place from Fusion, tweets Nero. True. True. Thoughts on Christopher? I think Christopher's really smart. Every time I've talked to Christopher, I have a lot of respect for how he thinks about the game. Coach of the Year? No, I mean, Coach of the Year, again, is based on the regular season. And also, yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, Coach of the Year is based on the regular season. And also, I always find it pretty difficult with Philadelphia to know how much is coming from the coaching staff and how much is coming from the players, because the players themselves are all very smart and quite articulate too. Yeah, I would love to know more. I want to hear more about Philly's run through the playoffs. I want to hear more from the coaches about which comps they thought were good at the beginning. How they mastered the Sombra Reaper. I want to hear more about what went wrong in their game against the Shock, and how they adapted to the Washington Justice after one day. Like, I need this juice in my life from the coaching staff of Philly. I need that transparency to be able to tell whether they really are just like an unbelievable team at being able to adapt on the fly, or whether they are incredibly well prepped before the games. Because both could be true from the outside right now. It's very hard to tell which is which. Ask Yiska to get Chris on for the Tactical Crouch next week. I mean, I'm not going to ask Yiska. Yiska can do his own thing. That's his podcast, but I would love it if he did. I'm not going to request a guest, though. I don't have any right to request a guest on somebody else's podcast. Da Vinci 47, thank you for the Twitch Prime. And Pepper Toast, thank you for the new sub as well. An XC McCree skin would have been fucking sick, but GG's Fleta. I think a Fleta skin will also be great. Have Christopher on Plat Chat. We normally record Plat Chat on Mondays. It's a very tight turnaround. We might be able to get him on in one of the off weeks, but he'll probably be really busy. I mean, he'll be presumably quarantining unless he's not traveling. Maybe the coaches won't travel. Maybe the coaches will just stay remote. I'm actually not sure. What hero will Fleta's skin be? I've no idea. What hero should it be? What hero should Fleta's skin be? There isn't really a hero that he is. Rumor has it he said Echo. Oh, Fleta said he wanted an Echo skin. That one makes sense. Because, I mean, apart from Rascal, Fleta maybe looked like the best Echo in the league.